All right. So this is going to be a Meet Manager tutorial. Um, I don't know exactly where we're going to go here, but I think what we're going to basically do is start creating meets. So basically creating a meet from scratch is going to be the first video that we'll make. It's really not too complicated, but there are a couple of nuances. So we'll go over how to like literally just open a file first and then go from there. So you're going to open Meet Manager. And then this box is going to pop up. So when this box pops up, if you want to open whatever database was open before, you just go down here and click OK. If you want a blank canvas, you're going to have to just push the X. No, so now you'll see up here at the top, it says no database open. That means I have a blank canvas right now. So then I can go to File. If I'm trying to open a new database or one that already exists, I'm going to go to File. You can click open. There's a couple different ways to do this. And then you can click whatever meet that you'd want to open. So if I click April invite, open, I'm going to click OK. Awesome. Now we're loaded. I'm just going to double check that by going to events. And you can see that everything is here. Okay. So, yep. And then all of our sessions and everything like that are here as well. So that is what that's going to look like. That's how you open a new file. The best way I've found to really just go back and go through a blank canvas is basically just going through Xing out of Meet Manager and then reopening it again. This time clicking the X, so that way we have a blank canvas. So now I want to set up my Meet. Okay, so now I'm going to go to set up the Meet. Why aren't you working? Okay, and we're back. So again, you're opening up Meet Manager, clicking an X, and then going over here to File, you're gonna click Open New. You can just create a new name. So this is going to be New Test Meet 2. Click Open, click OK. Awesome, you've just created a meet. So if I just make the name here whatever I want, New Test Meet 2, a place somewhere. So you're going to click in whatever the facility is, the address, all that stuff. I'm just going to put Knoxville, Tennessee, postal code. And then eventually you're going to come back in here and put the sanction number in once it's sanctioned up. The start date and then the end date are obviously whatever date the meet's going to be on. So say it starts today and then, um, ends on the 28th. The age update's just going to be whatever the day of the meet is for most of the meets. So, and then entry open date, whenever you want the entries to open, I usually just keep it for whatever day I create the meet because when I'm sending this out to coaches, they get it when I want them to get it. There's no reason to do otherwise. So usually you're gonna click US swimming, unless you're gonna do masters. Host LSC, click Southeastern since we're in Knoxville. And then over here in the class, you're really ever gonna do age group or senior. Typically, I just click senior. And then down here, this is really important. So if you're running two pools at once and you're gonna go a girls pool and a boys pool or a young kids pool and an older kids pool, here in Knoxville, we always run two pools for short course. Sometimes we do two pools for long course, but whenever that happens, you're going to click two timers. And then you can click the pool name. So you go, long pool, short pool, or girls pool, boys pool, whatever. So usually you'll do one timer, but sometimes you'll do two, depending on what season you're in. If you got touch pads at both ends, this will always happen at long course. It'll just default that later on. but it, usually doesn't happen for short course. Um, that click whatever course it is. So if it's yards, it'll be yards, or if it's meters, it'll be meters. Um, and then everything else should be good. Click OK. It'll tell you if there's something wrong. I usually just go in here and push free heat sheets on me mobile. You gotta do the contract. There you go. Or you can just push not interested, I guess, or X out of it. So there you go. So now the meet setup is pretty much done. Like that's pretty easy to do. You're gonna want to come in here and go entry fee. Make sure the entry fees are good. So maybe you're charging, um, $4 an athlete, and then $30 for a facility charge, something like that. You'll you're not going to do it per event yet because per event is going to be um, in the event tab when you actually make an event. So I'll show you that in a second. Finishing up on setup. There's a couple important things here. So this is all going to be a little bit different depending on what kind of meat you're doing. But for most of our meats, um, this tab is pretty important. This is going to say what is the maximum number of events people can do. So maybe they can do 9 events, including relays. They can do um, if you, usually we don't have any relays, so I just push 9 and I'll put 9 individual. So maybe it's 9 individual and then, 15, 14 with the relays or something like that. But usually no relays, so you just go 9 and 9. Um, and the tabs are a little weird, but you can kind of see where everything is. Everything else is pretty good. So now, you'll come up here, go to events, start adding an event. So right now you have a blank canvas. So what you're going to do is you can double click or you can push add up here. Oh, or you just push add. So you're going to go add. Now it's going to start you off on event 1. It's going to start off individual. It'll always start off girls, and it's this little button right here that says alternate gender. Means every time I click OK, it's just going to alternate girls, boys. It's super easy, if you're paying attention to that. So everything here is very unique to whatever type of event you're running. So if you're running a prelim final meet, you can come over here, prelim and finals. If you're running a time final meet, then um, leave it on time finals. And really the only thing here to put in is, do you want to run it slow to fast or do you want to run it fast to slow? So I know that kind of depends on the event and that kind of depends on the style of meet you're running. So for distance events, a lot of times it's fast to slow, and then for everything else, it's usually slow to fast. Um, then I'll click the age group I want. So maybe I want 15 and over. I want 200 brushstroke. For some reason, this is the first event. And then the other really important thing is coming over here is the entry fee, and just click whatever the entry fee is. So maybe it's $15 to enter. You're just gonna leave that there. And this is again where it's gonna put the pad on both ends that you can click. So if it's pads at both ends for prelims, you just click that. And then that is it. So, one other thing here. So if you want to, oops. So if you want to use, so notice right here, there's no 12 and under group. If you're going to go 12 and under group, you need to go 12 and then boom. So I just clicked enter and that created this 12 and under group. I click enter, but it created an event. It created event 1. So notice it's at create event 2 and it's on the boys now. So that's something you have to be careful of, to just not click enter. So usually what's going to happen is you're going to click 12. This won't be here. You'll click 12. Just trust that it's going to be okay, even when you click out of it. So there you go. So like I clicked a different button and then you see this popped up. So even if you do this last and it just says 12, it just looks like this and just click OK. It's all good. It was 12 and under. You're fine. Don't worry about that. Um, so and then again, sometimes our pool is 10 lanes. So if you're doing 10 lanes, uh, you click 10. So making sure that you have the correct number of lanes in there is really important as well. Okay. And so basically once you do that, so now we're on three because I clicked enter again. Um, we got 15 over two breast. So we'll do two butterfly now since we already did two breaststroke. So now we're on event three. It's girls. Now all I'm gonna do is click OK. Okay. And then I'll switch whatever it is, the age group or the stroke. And then I'll go OK. Okay. And I'm just gonna do that until I go through my whole event lineup. So I usually have a sheet of paper or another tab pulled up that's telling me what events I need to do. And I'm just going in that order. When you do that, it's super easy to just get this done. So all you're gonna do after that is just click out of this. Boom, everything showed up. Perfect, right where it needs to be. Um, so yeah, it's not super complicated. So from here, you're gonna go to sessions. And so now for sessions, now you got to create like how many sets. So if it's gonna be a 3-day meet and you're gonna go two sessions a day, one's younger, one's older, then it'll be 6 sessions. So it's kind of the same way. So we'll go session one. Maybe it's Friday PM. Start time is going to be 6 o'clock. So you're going to 0600 PM. The interval, I always do 25 seconds. If you're going to do chase starts, it's usually -15 or -20. Okay. So you can do negative here, but usually for normal meets, it's 25. A lot of times for finals, we'll actually do 60, especially if they're walking out and that's the sort of finals it is. Um, Gives a little bit more space. If it's a prelim final meet with, 4 or 5 finals, then I'm gonna go probably about a normal either 25 or even a 30. Okay. And this is where it becomes important to know how many entries are allowed per day. So we already did the total events in the meet setup. So we had 9 total events. And so now I can go, boom, you can go 3 per day, 3 including relays, and then we're good to go. So that's session one. Then session two comes. You want to change the name of it. So maybe it's Saturday AM. You have to make sure you change the day. I definitely made that mistake a couple times where I didn't change the day. So day two, uh, obviously different times. Let's say it starts at 9 a.m. Enroll. I know I did the last one 25. That one needs to be 25. So, and then same thing, 3 and 3. And yeah, you just go through that super easy again. So Saturday PM, still day two, so don't change that. And let's say we start at 12:35 um, PM, interval 25, still the same thing, 3 and 3. Boom. Okay, cool. So then you just exit out of that whenever you're done. Now what you want to do is you want to click on a certain session. So I'm going to click on, first I'm going to fix this just to peace of mind. There you go. 25. So I'm going to click on Friday PM. Then I'm going to double click whatever events I want in that session. So maybe for whatever reason, Friday PM is just the 12 and under 200 breaststroke. Double click, boom, they pop up over here. Good to go. Now I'm going to click on Saturday. Double click, double click. Awesome. And then maybe it's Saturday afternoon, 10 under 100 breast. Double click, double click. Awesome. So now I got all three of these things lined up. Super easy. Um, so now if I want to get any sort of timeline at all for what's going on here, I can go click on a session. Let's see. So I'll just click on, kind of leave all this the same. There's really no reason to not leave it the same, but I'll click on whatever session I want, click create report, and it's going to spit me out a timeline of what's going to go on. So right now we have 0 entries, 0 heats because it's time finals. If you did a prelim finals, event, it will estimate the finals timeline for you, which is really important. So even with zero entries and zero heats, you can actually go in and create a final timeline and see what that's going to look like, at least a really good estimate. So that's how you do this, and then you'll just print this off, send this to teams when you need to, um, that sort of thing. Okay, and then really the last thing that is important to think about is the reports. So also why I'm over here, this pre-meet checklist is really nice because you can kind of just go through, check off the box whatever you've done, so that way you just, you make sure you don't miss anything. So go through here, meet, setup, events, sessions. Those are the three most important things that we just went through. Records, time standards, those will only be for certain meets. Usually don't have time standards or very strict time standards. But there you go. So you can kind of put those in. There's a document on my drive that has all of the 2028 motivational standards that you can go through and import. So you can go over here, if I can import, and then import from your laptop what the 2028 time standards are, and then put them in, and and that sort of thing. So that way they're in there. Um, we went through all this stuff at the beginning, really the important stuff, which isn't too much. And then you'll come through here for reports. And so now this is where you can get the site sheet and meet program. Really easy. So if you want the sessions and the timeline, you click sessions and you do the same thing we just did before. If you want the site sheet, push site sheet. Um, okay. And then just push all, create report, or probably should select some events. And we have no data right in there right now, so it's not going to print. And then that's the psych sheet, and then the meet program is going to be the heat sheet and that sort of thing. Everything else, more than likely, you won't have to worry about if you have a good meet referee, a good someone in the booth, someone in the timers booth that's able to print all this stuff out. They usually will do a pretty good job at that at our club. So um, you don't have to really worry about any of that. Meet program's the last thing, and that's just going to be the same way as the heat sheet. Not going to print again because we do not have anyone in the meet. So that is basically everything. So yeah, that is basically everything. Everything else that I have is going to be in that drive. So I have a how-to on how to create meets, what to do for away meets, and other considerations. And then I have a another sheet that is basically how to work Meet Manager. Basically everything I just went through. I think the video will be a little bit more helpful, but once you do it a couple times, just kind of create a checklist for yourself. That way you know what have you done and what you haven't done. So pretty easy. Always try to get someone to double check, especially events and sessions. Make sure you didn't make a small mistake and miss anything. It's definitely important to not trust yourself entirely. So that's all I got.